Hi everybody, my name is Noah and welcome back to my channel. So, the day has finally come. It has been a long time coming to prepare for this video and I am so excited to be filming it today. Today I'm going to be going through Lady Gaga's discography and giving it an honest review. So I just did this video a few months ago and I did it with Ariana and I went through all of her albums. I ranked every song from every album and then I collectively ranked all of her albums from her most best to least best or vice versa. And then I also kind of gave some cute little awards at the end, so best fashion, best album artwork, best music videos, which album has the best singles. So I'm going to be doing all that today for Lady Gaga and I'm very excited. And then at the end of the video I will be ranking the albums from least best to most best because she doesn't have a bad album, so it's just going to be not so amazing to amazing. I did ask you guys on my community tab of YouTube, so definitely subscribe if you are not already, and welcome. This is going to be a longer video, so I do just want to jump right into it. Also follow my social media, the links will be down below, as well as on the screen at the end of the video, and I appreciate you sticking around, hearing me out. If you disagree or agree with me on anything, please comment down below. I would love to start a civil discussion down in the comments, so yeah. Enjoy. Okay, so I guess we can just get right into it. So pretty much the first thing that we saw of Lady Gaga was The Fame, of course. So The Fame came out in 2008 and that is her debut album. So with The Fame came the Fame Ball tour. I don't know if that's exactly what she called it, but that tour was pretty low standard. She didn't even sing all of the songs on the album. It was a quick show, probably like a 1 hour show max, and she didn't go very far. She didn't go to too many places. I think this era is very amazing for a debut era. It put her name on the map right away because she just kept releasing single after single. This album has 15 tracks and she made 6 of them singles. This kind of coincides a little bit with Katy Perry's Teenage Dream era and how successful that was. So this was kind of the same, but I feel like in a sense it's not as successful. Not really sure why. I don't look at the statistics and the sales and all that stuff behind it. However, for a debut it was extremely successful. I think her most successful song from this album is Poker Face. Personally it's not my favorite, but I really enjoy Paparazzi, the title track of The Fame. Paper Gangster is really good too. So my ranking will be on the screen here. This is my ranking. Starting at the top would be my favorite song. Personally, it's not like I'm, speaking for all. This is my opinion. So this is my favorite on the album versus, or down to my least favorite, or ones that I usually just don't listen to or skip over. I do really appreciate this album. I enjoy everything about it. It is not my favorite Lady Gaga album or era, but we will get more into that later. So I think that's all I have to say about The Fame. I was only 8 years old when this album came out, so I kind of grew up with Lady Gaga in a sense, much like how I grew up with Ariana and Katy Perry as well. I started listening to Lady Gaga when I was 8 years old when this album came out. I started listening to Katy Perry when I was 8 to 9 years old when her debut came out and Teenage Dream and all that stuff, and then I started listening to Ariana when I was 12 or 13 when her debut came out, and now I'm 20 years old and I'm still following all of them. So it's just so crazy to grow up. I feel like they are big influences in my life just because I've been with them for over 10 years. Next era. So this one was kind of confusing to me. This is the Fame Monster era. This album came out in 2009, and the reason I put air quotes around the album is because this album only has 8 tracks. I am not sure if you would consider this an EP or not. I'm pretty sure they did not sell this in stores, making it an online only, an EP. From what I remember, because iTunes was fresh, you know what I mean? I remember there being this as an EP, and then if you wanted these songs Bad Romance, Alejandro, Telephone, all that stuff, you would have to buy the Fame Monster Deluxe, and it was both the Fame and the Fame Monster albums in one CD. That's what I remember. I'm not entirely sure because I'm pretty sure that's the CD that I had. But here's the rankings of the songs on this Fame Monster EP only. In my head, I classified them as 2 separate eras, even though they are only a year apart. I just think it's so cool how every single album she's ever put out is so different, and I'll get more into that later. but like how the fame is like being famous and you know, glamorous, living the life, and then you see the dark side of it all in the Fame Monster, and I just think it's the coolest thing in the world. This album had 2 tours promoting it. I guess you could classify them as like the Monster Ball 1 and the Monster Ball 2.0, like you can say that. The first one had, it was mainly like a lot of songs from the first album, plus like Bad Romance and Telephone, like the singles from the Fame Monster. And then eventually she was kind of like, oh, I want to make this better and bigger, so she kind of revamped the whole thing, and that's where the Fame Monster 2.0 came in, and she incorporated more of like the New York set, where she was like traveling to the Monster Ball with her friends through New York or whatever, and it had more of a storyline. Personally, I really enjoy this tour. However, we took a little break because she was on the Fame Monster tour forever, and we got to Born This Way. At the end of the Monster Ball era, she did end up performing Born This Way, and I think she performed You and I a few times on the Monster Ball. So crazy, because here's my ranking of the album, and all of the singles are at the top. So, I will tell you my little journey with this album. What I find so crazy about this album is the singles on this album are flawless. I think her best songs ever that she's ever made are on this album. Like I said, I'll get into it more later because it's not my favorite album, but yes, we will get into that. So I would say for this album, it came out in 2011. She was performing some of the songs on the Monster Ball tour, and then she kind of just like cut that, and we got the Born This Way album, and from there spawned, you know, the Born This Way Foundation, 5 incredible music videos to all of the singles on this album, which I do appreciate all of them very, very much. Some of them are a little on the simpler side, but I do think that they all have a great storyline, and they all like make sense. Sometimes, you know, people release music videos and you're kind of just like, oh, okay, you look nice, but like, what's the point? But like these ones all, you know, they make sense. Marry the Night is a whole movie. Born This Way obviously is a great introduction to the world of Born This Way and like the vision that she's trying to emulate there. You and I, something about a mermaid, and the I guess she called it cross-dressing back then with her alter ego Joe. That was kind of like a big thing around that You and I era. The Edge of Glory, she's just kind of like dancing around. And that's one of the videos that I appreciate but are very simple. Judas is, you know, about her falling in love with someone that's not right for her, and she knows it, but like she doesn't really care. So other than that, I really appreciate a lot of these other underrated songs on this album. So when this album came out, I kind of fell off the Lady Gaga train. I was obsessed with her throughout the Fame Monster. But when Born This Way came around, I listened to the singles. I listened to, you know, all 5 of the top singles, like I said. But I didn't listen to anything else when the album came out. I think the rock influence as an 11-year-old was just not up my alley, and I feel like a lot of people maybe my age could relate. It was very mature for me, and I didn't understand it as an 11-year-old, so I didn't listen to it. I didn't buy it. I didn't do anything. I did really enjoy the song Born This Way. I enjoyed Judas. I remember listening to You and I, The Edge of Glory, Marry the Night, because they were all on the radio, and I appreciated them a lot, and I watched her music videos. But as for the album, I did not listen to anything else. It was kind of just not in my comfort zone as a child, so I did not listen to it. Recently, literally within the past like quarantine time, I reconnected with this album and I found myself loving it. I enjoy a lot of the songs. There are a few songs on here which I will not listen to. For the Born This Way tour, this was also the only tour where she did not come to my city, which is very odd. But she did end the show early because of an injury. So this kind of stopped the Born This Way era from, I think it could have been way more successful than it was. It was already successful, you know, the singles were great, but I feel like she could have done so much more with it. I think she could have put out maybe a 6th single. I think Hair would have been a great option because she did perform that televised a few times. It's because she broke her hip, yes. During this time, you know, she's turning to drugs and she's turning to, you know, writing music, different music, insane music, and that is where Artpop happens. So I remember seeing her last performance of the Born This Way tour before she broke her hip, and at the end of it, she said that she can't wait to come back for Artpop. So like it was talked about, it was in the works. I'm pretty sure that was like 2012 at the time. Maybe it was, I honestly don't remember the years. It could have been 2013 because Artpop came out in 2013, I think like late in the year. Like November maybe or something. I don't know. I don't really remember this time because again, I fell off the Lady Gaga train. So I was still off the train at this time. I was 13 years old. This is when Yours Truly came out, Ariana, so I was kind of in that direction more of like the R&B, bubblegummy pop, not the techno, rocky, crazy pop that Lady Gaga was producing at the time. And boy, was I stupid. So my story with this pretty much is I was 13, it just wasn't my cup of tea. I was already not listening to Born This Way and I didn't really care. I listened to Applause when it came out, and I knew that song, and I knew Do What You Want when it came out. Obviously that song has run its course and we know that. Those were the only two songs that I knew. She made GUI a single or something like that with a music video. I had no clue what the song was until I actually heard the album, and it's so crazy because this album is so good. A lot of people sleep on it, and I think it's because of how different it is. And I understand the music's not for everybody. You know, when you start the album up and you hear her saying that she killed her former and starts laughing crazy on Aura, you're not really going to want to stick around if you're not like into that, or if you're not down to like experiment with what she's doing. So I feel like a lot of people, normal people, listen to the album in order, at least like for the first few times, to really get like what the artist is trying to push and persuade on you, and then you can interpret it for yourself and things like that. So when it's up to open interpretation and you start the track, or you start the album with Aura, it's going to be a little strange, and I understand that. So I completely understand, you know, where people are coming from when they say that they don't like it and that it's her worst album. And it did flop, it did not do well at all, but I do not think that is her choice. I think that was her team's. They didn't promote it, and this album easily could have had 5 singles just like Born This Way had. If I were to pick, I would say Applause would have been the first single because it already was and it was the most radio friendly. I'm not gonna count Do What You Want because that was just a whole mess. GUI, Venus, and then I think a slow song would have been nice, so I guess Dope, because that's the only slow song on here. And then Gypsy to close it out. I definitely think that that is one of her best songs of all time. We can fight in the comments if you would like, but just know that you are wrong, and we will talk more about that later. But I really enjoy the album. I think it's a great album. It's so cohesive. You know, the techno pop is something I very much enjoy after hearing this album. But again, I slept on it. So this album came out in 2013. I was still off the Gaga train. And then I'm just like a sophomore in high school looking for new music, and I stumble upon Artpop, and I listened to the whole thing, and I am obsessed with it. I was, I think, like 15 or 16, so I waited like 2 to 3 years after the album came out to actually listen to it and appreciate it the way that I should have. But I think it's all in a matter of time. I wasn't mature enough to understand it back then, just like Born This Way, so I didn't, and now I do, and I'm happy I do, and I love it so, so much. So if I didn't put it up here already, here's my listing for the tracks on Artpop. This album also came with the Art Rave, or Artpop Ball Tour, whatever you want to say. This tour was pretty cool. She did come to my city, but again, I did not go because I didn't know the album. After seeing some videos and stuff of this tour, I've watched it in full like multiple times. I love it. I wish I would have went. I think it is such a crazy, awesome party experience, and I am very disappointed in myself that I did not go. There's not much I could say about it. I think the outfits were awesome. I think the songs, the set list was awesome. She's just such an amazing performer, you know, no matter what she does, it's never gonna be like short of amazing. So that's just like all good for her. But she released Cheek to Cheek, which was her jazz collaboration album with Tony Bennett. Personally, I did not listen to this at all. I've listened to a few tracks actually, and I do have some favorites. So some of my favorites from this album are Anything Goes, Cheek to Cheek, It Doesn't Mean a Thing, or It Don't Mean a Thing, and Bang Bang, My Baby Shot Me Down. Those are some of my favorites from the album. I have not listened to the album in full though, so I could be completely uncultured and biased. So I will work on that, I promise, but I didn't want to rank the album because I felt like it wouldn't have been fair, because I didn't want to lie, because I didn't listen to half of the songs on the album. So in between this whole phase, of Joanne and Cheek to Cheek. She put out Till It Happens to You, which I think is such a beautiful song. Every time I hear it, I start to tear up a little bit, so I really don't listen to it that often. I love when artists, you know, use their voice to convey a message, but also spread, like, light to a situation. You know, she says, till it happens to you, you don't know how it feels. You don't know how I feel till it happens to you. It won't be real. Things of that nature. And it's a crazy song that talks about a lot of touchy subjects, and I commend her so much for making a song like that. There is a performance of her singing it, which is so emotional. So it's 2016 now. I am 16 years old, and I am laying in my bed at midnight ready to react to Joanne for you guys. Little to be known that it would be one of my most viewed videos. So if you've seen that and you've been here for the whole 4 years, thank you, you're incredible. But I think it was October that this video came out, or this album came out. I am not gonna lie. Editing on my ugly couch, but just know, anything that is said is my opinion, which doesn't mean that it's wrong, but it's also not yours. So I just want to keep that clear. We don't need to dislike spam this video. The album's still amazing. Like, it's a great body of work. It's just not my favorite. Swear to gosh, do not forget that. Okay. You know, after marinating in the album and listening to it a bunch and listening to her other albums that she's put out before and after this and weighing my options, I do not think this album is my personal favorite. Does that mean that it's her worst or not her best album? Maybe, that's up to you. But my opinion is that it is not my favorite album by her. So if I say anything that comes across as like trashing the album, just know it is not my personal favorite, and we're gonna leave it at that. Do I think it's a terrible album? Absolutely not. I think there are amazing songs on this album, but do I turn and run to listen to any songs on this album versus everything else that she's ever put out? Not at all. So, this album came out in 2016. Some of my favorite tracks on here are John Wayne, Perfect Illusion, Diamond Heart, Million Reasons. I really like the Angel Down thing. And Joanne, of course, the title track is very good. Ayo, Dancing in Circles. I like a lot of the songs. I think I like more than half of the songs on this album. I just don't really listen to them. If they come on, I won't skip them, but I won't like run to play them, if that makes sense. You know, she's done so well in the past with making cohesive albums, and I really feel like this album is her least cohesive. Yes. It was like either very rock, very country, or there was nothing in between. Like John Wayne is kind of very like techno-y. Perfect Illusion, very rock. Diamond Heart, kind of like soft rock, I guess that'd be a good way to describe it. Million Reasons, it's a slow pop song. Joanne, a slower country-esque pop song. You know, Angel Down, I don't even know, alternative, dare I say. Just, do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Things just don't fit. And I don't want to trash this album, but compared to what she's done in the past and what she is about to do with Chromatica in the future, and A Star Is Born, The Cure, like, it's just like little things like that. Like, she really outdid herself with everything else, and then she kind of just held back a little too much. I honestly don't know. I really don't know. This album came with the Joanne World Tour. I didn't go because I didn't like the album that much. Joanne wasn't for me. And I think the message was beautiful. The title track, you know, paying homage to her aunt, I believe it's her aunt. I love it. I love it so much, and I think it's beautiful. However, what does Dancing in Circles have to do with her aunt that passed away? You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna name a whole album after somebody, and that's the thing, that's why I don't know if she was intending to name it after her aunt, or she kind of like put on the pink hat and called herself Joanne and wrote music that like her aunt would like. Like, I don't see the connection. I don't. I still don't, and I still won't. I've seen plenty of interviews. I've seen the tour, which I don't know. I really don't. I think her vision for this era was just very different, and that is okay. I don't mean to trash it. I really don't. Please don't hate me, please. It's not my favorite. And that's okay. Artpop, you probably hate it. You probably hate it. So, The Cure. The Cure, one of her best songs of all time. The fact that it's not on an album baffles me. Would it have fit on Joanne? Absolutely not. But you know what I think of this song when I hear it? If her character, Allie, from A Star Is Born, had an album, The Cure. Allie, A-L-L-Y, Allie, I don't know what her last name was in the movie, if she had one. Incredible. I think A Star Is Born is some of her best work. Shallow? Annoying. I love it, but it's like, you know, overplayed radio. People, that was like the trailer song, like everyone knows it. It's annoying. Bradley, incredible, but we're not talking about him right now. I'm not gonna rank the Star Is Born album again because I have only listened to the Lady Gaga tracks, not Bradley's. I've seen the movie multiple times. I have it, you know, I purchased it, I love it, but I don't wanna, you know, be unfair. So some of my favorites are Is That Alright? I cry every single time. Always Remember Us This Way, a classic. I'll Never Love Again, the extended version that she sings at the end of the movie. Or is anybody, it's 5 minutes long, of Heaven, Are You With Me? Dig in My Grave. See, this is why I'm saying, a lot of songs, like the pop songs in this movie, like Hair, Body, Face, or Why Did You Do That, or what's that song? I'm alone in my house, I'm out on, Look What I Found. Like, they're okay. But I don't think they're supposed to be amazing because she's kind of like, she doesn't write pop music and then she gets pushed to writing pop music in the movie. You see what I'm saying. So the music isn't gonna be great, but when she writes those slow ballads with Bradley about love and, you know, being in a relationship and, incredible, incredible. I think it's some of her best work she's ever done. And the fact that she wrote the entire movie, like the songs, she wrote all of them. That's why she won every single award. She got, you know, the Grammy, the Oscar, the Golden Globe, the Emmy, the Tony, whatever she got, well deserved, well deserved. And then after A Star Is Born, she took a big break and we were like, what is happening?
Me again on the ugly couch. I forgot to mention in this entire video, which is very odd of me that I did that. After A Star Is Born, I said she took a big break, but she was on her Enigma Las Vegas residency tour, which I just completely like forgot about. Sorry. The show was incredible. I figured it gets like a spot. I should talk about it. The show was incredible. The storyline, outstanding. And the fact that she wrote a song called Enigma on Chromatica is also really cool. I loved all the outfits. I loved how it was mainly like a show of her greatest hits. Even though she didn't sing some of like the underrated songs that we love so much, it's okay. She did perform Shallow on that tour. And then she also had her like jazz and piano show that she did like every other night or whatever, or like once a week or something. And it was like some of her songs, but cheek to cheek songs, jazz songs, all piano based. Very cool. And she kind of continued all the way through that until the pandemic started, and then she had to stop. So I think the show was very cool. I did see it online. And yeah, sorry I forgot to mention that in the real video.
People found leaks and teases to this new song. We were like, what's it gonna be? And it was Stupid Love. Yeah. If anybody watched my Stupid Love video reaction, get a life. In the video, I said on my initial listen that some of it was boring and people hated me. So I would like to issue a public apology and say, first of all, it is my least favorite song on the album. Do I ever skip it? No. Do I listen to it? Do I sometimes even like tell Alexa to play Stupid Love? Absolutely. I think it's a good song, but it's the weakest on the album. I'm just not a fan of it. Personal opinion. I think they're just, you know, songwriting. Like this is the pop song that should have been the lead single because it just makes sense. It's simple, it's radio friendly. People that don't really care about Lady Gaga and the talent that she has and just want music, they're gonna eat it up. Especially people, you know, wanting to dance and all of that, like I understand. So Chromatica, her latest body of work, came out, you know, just a few months ago, 2020 in May. Here are my favorite tracks, my ranking of the album. This does not include Chromatica 1, 2, and 3 because I just feel like it makes no sense to put them on there. I would just interpret them with their songs that precede them. I really enjoy Sign From Above. I just love Lady Gaga's vocal and how they sound together. Elton John, I don't really listen to all that often, so I don't really, you know, freak out when he starts singing, but like, it's fine. Enigma is that song, absolutely. Free Woman has been growing on me. It wasn't my initial favorite, but it really grew on me. I think Fun Tonight is still one of the best songs, but I have been such like in a Babylon, Rain on Me, like dancier kind of kick lately. Alice, growing. Sour Candy, grew. I hated it when I first listened to it, and now it's one of my faves. Love it so much. 911 is really growing on me. After seeing her VMA performance, it's growing. I used to really skip it every single time, and I've listened to it a few times in the past few days, so be proud. Rain on Me, incredible. It's not, it's not the best song she's ever written, but it is one of my favorite collabs for Ariana and Lady Gaga, like both of them. But I think 911 might be the next single.
Lady Gaga's new single.
If we're getting another one, we definitely have to get another one. I thought it was going to be Free Woman, but I guess it might be 911. I really don't know. If you haven't seen my video of my Rain on Me music video cover, you can watch that if you'd like. I think that is all I needed to cover era-wise. So let's get into these awards, and I will tell you guys my rankings from most best to least best. Okay, so first up we have best fashion. So I'm gonna be like picking like eras. Does that make sense? Like I'll be saying an era, like which era had the best fashion, and I will tell you my answer. So best fashion, I'm gonna say Born This Way, and here's why. The meat dress, the whole prosthetics in your face, the long ponytail that she used to whip around, the short turquoise hair, Joe, her alter ego cross-dress thing that she did. The Fame Monster is a close second because we had iconic outfits in her music videos. Best album artwork, Chromatica, you already know. If Chromatica didn't come out, or if the album artwork sucked, I would have said Artpop. I feel like they're both very close and so many details to look at. That is why I picked it. And I think it represents the album very well. The best music videos, I think, come from The Fame Monster. It is some of her best work. Bad Romance, which honestly, like, it's not my favorite song because it's just so, like, tattooed in your mind. But, like, Alejandro, the music video, the movie we got for Telephone, oh, you're kidding. The best tour, okay, so this one I could not pick. I also have never seen Lady Gaga live, so I could completely be lying. But I put Art Rave and Monster Ball because I don't know what to pick. I feel like I love the Monster Ball because it has such a storyline behind it, and like they're going through New York trying to get to the Monster Ball, blah blah blah, and then they make it and they sing Bad Romance, and she kills the Fame Monster during paparazzi while she's shooting fire out of her, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Art Rave is just so fun, so colorful. I feel like she really connected with her audience at some of those shows a lot. Like she would bring people up on stage, which I think she would do for all of her shows. I'm not too sure, but from what I've seen, I just really enjoy the Art Rave. I think the set list is one of her strongest. It's just so fun. It's so long. Best singles. I kind of already hinted at this earlier, but Born This Way, hands down, had the best singles. I guess you could say The Fame because it had Just Dance, Poker Face, Love Game. I wouldn't fight you on it. But if you said anything other than probably the Fame era or Born This Way, you're wrong. If you say Artpop has the best singles, goodbye. If you say Joanne, goodbye. I would say Born This Way. I think that Marry the Night is one of her best songs of all time, other than You and I, which is also on that album, so Edge of Glory, which is also on that album. Born This Way is fine. It's just kind of like, done at this point. And same with Judas, which I really love. I love Judas. So, Born This Way. And the most underrated album, I just threw this in because it made the most sense, is Artpop, because no one likes it. So, I'm just going to leave it at that. I think her most cohesive album, this isn't on my notes, so I have to think. I just thought of it. Dare I say Chromatica? Dare I say it? I guess I have to, because of all those transitions between the interludes and the songs, and how, you go from Enigma to Replay, or whatever the track listing is, and then, like, you get some Sour Candy in there, and then Sign From Above comes, and you're like, what the heck is this? And it's like, oh my god, and then you slow down a little, but then pick back up for 1,000 Doves. I definitely think that, and then you go to church for Babylon at the end of the album. I think Chromatica is her most cohesive body of work, not because of all the fun little effects that they put in the album to make it, glide right in so smoothly, but songwriting, everything, it's so personal, and I just think it is her most cohesive body of work. Okay, so the time has come, which is the end of this video. So here are my album rankings. I am gonna go from the least best to the most best, because if I said worst to best, I'd probably get canceled. And by no means do I think any of these albums are bad. They are just not my cup of tea or bottle of water in this situation. So in last place, in least best place, Joanne. Right above Joanne, I would put The Fame. Right above The Fame, I would put Born This Way, because there are some songs on both of those albums that I do not listen to, and I just think it's only fair. After Born This Way, up there is The Fame Monster. I think that it's very short, and I don't listen to some of the songs on there regularly, but it's great. It's very, strong, and it was one of her most successful times. In second place, I'm gonna put Chromatica, because it's still fresh and I really enjoy it. I think it's very personal and powerful and just very easy on the ears. It's a very nice listen. And I'm not counting A Star Is Born or Cheek to Cheek or anything like that. So, first place, her best album, Artpop. It's very cohesive. You go from, love and wanting someone to love the real you, to kind of more of like the sexual side of things with GUI and the songs after that. And then you go into Jewels and Drugs, which is kind of just like, okay, Manicure, you're still kind of in the love sense. And then you start to say, like, We Could Belong Together, Artpop, and you're traveling through this time where the song comes, Artpop, the title track, right in the middle of the album, perfect split, and you finally get there and you're like, oh, okay, things are starting to slow down, and then you come right back up with Swine and you're dancing again, and then the album or the relationship that you're longing for kind of goes to trash. Donatella, all about self-love, looking fab, fashion, looking good, feeling fine, turning to drugs, Mary Jane Holland, and realizing that you need that person more than the drugs of your choice for dope. And then you just want to travel the world, Gypsy, and live for your fans' applause. Oh wow, I just connected that so well. Lady Gaga, if you ever want to hire me for anything, don't know what that would be, but my links are in the description. Please feel free to reach out. I would love that. Well, the time has finally come. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you stayed till the absolute end, just know that I appreciate you so much. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you watched this whole thing, because I love talking about music and my favorite artists. So I do have plans to do this in the future with Katy Perry, Kelly Clarkson, Demi Lovato, Taylor Swift, anybody. I know Katy Perry is going to be my next one though, especially because her album did just come out a week or so ago. So I am very excited to be dissecting her very soon and doing that. In the meantime, I will see you guys very soon. I love you so much. I have a special announcement coming out October 3rd, Saturday. Don't know what time yet, so just keep a lookout on my channel. All of my links are in the description for my Instagram, my Facebook, Twitter, my YouTube page, which are already on. They're all in the description for your leisure. So please follow me everywhere so you can stay updated for things that I am doing and things that I have planned. I love you very much. Stay safe wherever you are, and I will see you soon. Mwah. Also, please don't hate me for any of my opinions that I had. Mwah. Okay, bye.
Subscribe. This is the channel to subscribe to, if you're gonna subscribe to any.